and the electronic superhighway. Courage is acting responsible as panic grips the souls of others. Courage is this woman. Courage is this woman daring to cross the crack in the concrete drawn by dull-witted prophets who mistrust the truth of their own God. Courage is Dr. Betty Shabazz.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I thank you very much. Somewhere out there, Stella Shabazz is here. She came all the way from Savannah, Georgia. Where are you? God bless you. In the name of the God of our forefathers and foremothers, the beneficent, the merciful, it is my privilege to stand before you, and it is, or it has been, awesome. I never expected whatever it was that I've experienced here today. One of the things that Malcolm always said to me is, don't be bitter. Remember Lot's wife. When they kill me, and they surely will, you have to use all of your energy to do what it is you have to do. And I've tried very hard to do that.
Yes, you did.
And one of the things is I did it because I had to do it. I defied my parents and married them, so I knew I couldn't go home. If I did go home, my mother would remind me every day, so that I knew that I had to do what I had to do. But I was never fearful. Please understand it. Malcolm took the fear out of my heart, out of my mind, and out of my existence. Whatever will be, will be. But I'm not going to waste my time being frightened about it. And you conjure up images in your own mind. And a lot of time people will try to put you into that trap, so that you constantly have to look over your shoulders and perhaps throw a little salt. So that I have tried to do what it was that I had to do. And another thing he said was, be bright and smart and all of that, but always try to be humble. If not 24 hours a day, at least a portion of the 24 hours a day. And a friend of mine was saying that, remember, the world rotates every 24 hours. And she says, God have mercy on the soul that thinks they are sitting on top of the world as the world rotates every 24 hours, because you might find yourself mashed. To Mrs. Khadijah Farrakhan, to the distinguished dais guest, to the honorable brothers and sisters, to the viewers and the various satellites that's transmitted connected from the landmark theater that we call the Apollo Theater. I am delighted to have this opportunity this day, May the 6th, 1995, 8 days from Mother's Day. It's a wonderful Mother's Day gift.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
It
is.
is one that I will remember for the rest of my life. Sitting in the Apollo Theater, that a man had a vision when he saw the Apollo Theater boarded up and trash in front of it and people sleeping in the covers of the Apollo Theater. And whatever money his family thought he was going to leave, he put into the Apollo Theater to bring it out of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And after that happened, not one penny of that money, and it was a lot of it. After that happened, he had to then try to find paint and architects and the chandeliers that you see hanging back there. That was also part of his vision. But today we are sitting in the Apollo Theater. And when it was further putting distance between he and whatever little money he had, I understand that Congressman Rangel took over the honors. Give them both a hand. People with a purpose, with an agenda, with determination, can do what everyone else around this globe is doing. So that we applaud ourselves. And let me say to you that it is a specific, unique, intense, and focused pleasure to have the opportunity of this experience in quest of justice, to think so many people whose bottom line agenda was equity and justice. God says it, and legislated by man. What could be more honorable than that? My Methodist mother frequently said, "Find the good and praise it." Sometime I wonder if we have forgotten, because I'm sure if my mother said it, your mother must have said it to you. So that my purpose this night is to try to thank some of the people for reaching out to me. I would therefore like to thank the heads of organizations, civil rights leaders, sorority and fraternity members, service organizational members, some of the elected officials, members of religious organizations, members of professional organizations, and the good brothers and sisters who just keep the sky from crushing all of us. I would like to thank, in Brooklyn, they have some veterans. I would like to thank the veterans who kept the enemies at bay and have to come home and still fight for equity and justice.
Yes, yes.
Let me just say that I had a father who fought in the war. I had a brother who was killed in action in Korea. I had a brother who served in Nam. And I had a husband who served in the streets of America. And their justice is and was equal. So that we have to be vigilant, and we have to be focused, and we have to remember the Constitution of the United States, and we have to constantly review the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment to get our directions as to who we are, supposedly a free people, and the fact that we can determine part, at least, of our lives, and we cannot leave it to someone else. And if our representatives are not taking good care of us, the constituents, we need to change them. One of the lawyers in Minnesota, I was saying one day, I was just full of anxiety, and I said, "Where is the justice?" And he says, "You got to fight for it." And I say to you that if our lives are not the way we think they should be as human beings, as free people, and we are free. Remember what Carter G. Woodson said. Some of us behave in such a way, and that was the scenario about the back door, that we no longer have to go to the back door, but some of us continue to go to the back door. He says, and if there is no back door, we'll make one. We must look at ourselves and how we carry out our own lifespan and understand that we have to do more than what we have done in the past, because nobody else is going to do it for you. A lot of folks are waiting for some white folks, good white folks, to come in and straighten their lives out. You have not read the papers or watched the news. CNN is a good example. Destabilization is all over the world. It's not just striking our people, it is striking world people. So that if we want change, then we have to do it ourselves. Are you going to tell me to sit down now? Okay. Let me kind of hurry up. Satellite time is going down. Gotta hurry up. I would like to thank select individuals who've reached out to me, but I'd like to thank the legal team. Good night, have mercy. The defense team was Dan S. Scott. I'd like to thank him. But a real dynamo was Larry Leventhal. He jumps up like a jumping jack. He didn't walk to give Counselor Mr. Sutton notes. he would do power walking. I'd like to thank Mr. William Kunstler. He is a credit to the American justice system. Last but surely not least, I'd like to thank Mr. Sutton. This brilliant man who encouraged the legal team, who helped the legal team become totally focused, a man who has helped me and my family. I really should not say a man, because Mr. Sutton never does anything by himself, whether he says it or not. It is always his family. And he says that his father, who was his high school principal, and 3 of his sisters taught him, and he was the youngest, what was that, 20 children? 15 children. See, I said that so that 15 would sound less. Taught them to do so. I don't know what I would have done without the Sutton family, because it has not been easily. Finally, I would like to thank Mr. Louis Farrakhan, you know him as Minister Farrakhan, for his original gentle words of assurance for my daughter and myself and her sisters, and for his suggestion of support. As he said, we will have to help Brother Malcolm's family. I like the way he said that, and I hope that he continues to see my husband as Brother Malcolm. A man born of a Grenadian mother and a Southern black preacher father who was a Garveyite. A man who built every house he's ever lived in. A man who was a family man. And Malcolm was 6 years old when his father was found under a streetcar in Detroit, Michigan. Boy, boy, boy. Let me just say that, I know. Malcolm was a good man. Now, if you don't think so, obviously you've been hearing something that you should not have been hearing. Malcolm went into that movement out of prison with 4 mosques made up of senior citizens. And before he was expelled from that movement, there was a mosque in every major city in the United States and outside of the United States. For God's sake, don't take away his work and his legacy. He spent time away from his family that he should have been with his family. family. And now, don't reduce his work to nothing. Whatever discipline I have, which is not much, came from Malcolm, not my mother. Whatever strength I have came from Malcolm, not my mother. Whatever tolerance and love of my people came from Malcolm. I was reared like most folks going through public schools with not much respect for myself or black people. So that I have Malcolm to thank.
That's right.
How could I have 6 kids and go to graduate school and every other month they were going to foreclose on my house, and my kids was in school and the car note and the food and the this and the that and the other? How could I do that if I didn't have some of his wisdom? Nothing and still consider it a responsibility to help others? I can remember Mr. Sutton and his brother who called me into the office once and said, you know, why didn't you tell us they were going to foreclose on your house and take your house? Why didn't you tell us? Well, we have decided, he said, that we're going to help you. And I started crying. He said, why are you crying? I said, because you all are so kind. He says, he really is a businessman. Those tears dried up. He said, my dear, we're not helping you out of kindness, but it is much easier to help you rather than to have to take care of you. Minister Farrakhan, may the God of our forefathers forever guide you on your journey. May your conceptual framework keeps broadening, and may you take up the mantle and do God's work. May the God of our forefathers always guide us. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters.